Hello there, my name's Moira and I'm a member of Kinmiley's Church, and today I'd like to share a few thoughts with you from a couple of my favourite Bible verses. This time last year, I guess none of us could have begun to imagine how 2020 was going to turn out. For all of us, it has been a year of restrictions and cancelled plans, family celebrations that couldn't happen, holidays that had to be cancelled, places we couldn't go to, people we couldn't spend time with as we would have wished. For many, it's sadly, very sadly, been a time of loss of loved ones, loss of health, loss of employment, and no words of mine can begin to take away the pain of that. But the thing that has kept me going during this past year is my faith as a Christian. And I'd like to tell you about a couple of verses in the Bible that have always been really important to me, but which have been particularly meaningful during these last months while life has been dominated by the COVID pandemic. They come from the Old Testament, from the book of Jeremiah, and it's chapter 29, verses 11 to 13. Let me read them to you. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Of course, as with any verses from the Bible, it's really important to understand the context in which they were written. And the context here is that the people of Israel had been taken from the land that God had promised them into captivity in Babylon. So they were living in a time and place of loss and restrictions. And it was into this situation that the prophet Jeremiah brings these words of comfort and encouragement to them. He was not saying that God was going to wave some kind of magic wand and make things better overnight. Indeed, they were going to be in captivity for 70 years. But what he was saying, I believe, was that God had not forgotten about them, that he had their backs, that he was with them in their trying circumstances. He was saying that God wanted them to learn from their situation and to lean on him and trust him when the going was hard, and to understand that ultimately he was working things out for their good, both as individuals and as his people, even though it was not the path they would have chosen for themselves. I think we all really like to be in control of our lives, don't we? We have our hopes, our dreams, our aspirations. We make plans for the future. We map out what we want and hope for in terms of our careers, our relationships, our leisure activities, in terms of where we want to be and what we want to do. As I look back over my life, I can think of times when things I had hoped for didn't work out as I had planned. And at such times, in the face of disappointment, these verses from Jeremiah helped to remind me that actually God had a better plan if I would just trust him and allow him to lead me. I can also think of times when I knew I was at a crossroads and had to make decisions about my future. For example, when I was thinking about leaving my teaching post in Aberdeen and coming to Inverness to work for Scripture Union. And then again years later, when I felt it was time to move on from SU and go back into teaching. At those points, these verses from Jeremiah brought huge reassurance and encouragement, reminding me that God did have plans for me and that they were good plans. And of course, these verses are true not just for our immediate individual circumstances, but they also give the reassurance to all of us who have entrusted our lives to God that we are part of his bigger plan as his people, and that whatever difficulties or trying times we may experience, He is with us in them and will lead us through them, giving us a future and a hope. He promises here that if we seek him with all our heart, we will find him. That has been hugely encouraging for me over the years, and I do hope it brings an encouragement to you too at this time.